Yeah, that person that I just described to you got Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, to actually bar medical visas for Palestinian children who had gotten medical visas to come get treatment in the United States of America.
In the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living, and I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more, go ahead. One or two more, go ahead. I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. You know, I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone crazy. You know, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares, but they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was going to ask you exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more, so much excitement around this than even some foreign leaders?
Because I think he's different. All right, I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way. But I think he's different than, your typical guy runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. Because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point, and he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping him. But he's different than, your average candidate. He came out of nowhere. I said he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. What'd you start off at one or two?
Oh my God!
I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1. Then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add.
Oh my God. You think Trump watched the stream, chat? Chat, you think Trump saw the ZOHRAN stream? It was at 1%, and then that's crazy. That's crazy. He said this guy's a great campaign manager. He's glazing everything. He's glazing every aspect of Zohran Mamdani's life right now. What the hell is going on? The glazery is open for business. Bro, this shit is Krispy Kreme. It's Krispy Kreme. Is Trump actually just propagandized from the media he's consumed? Yes. This guy Zohran, very cool guy, very good guy. Like him quite a bit. Really brilliant campaigner. I see a lot of myself in him. I mean, that actually does make sense, though, because, he does see Zohran as a kindred spirit in some ways, because Zohran Mamdani went after the establishment Democrats and went after the Republicans and Donald Trump and got a lot of enmity in the process. And Donald Trump himself also went after establishment Republicans and the Democratic Party and the media in order to secure his place. The biggest indication that he likes him is that he immediately started posting pics of him on True Social. Yeah. Remember what he did after Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. He posted AI. There's already stuff that he's done that I disagree with and I don't think is smart. Can you please rewind a bit? Why? We already saw him eat it. Here.
And then all of a sudden he wins a primary.
Look. Here, let's run it again.
He came out of nowhere. What'd you start off at 1 or 2? And then I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on a...
You're just jealous of Mamdani, but it's okay. We'll always prefer you. No. I'm not jealous of Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, I'm jealous of Zohran because he got to fucking hang out with my favorite politician, Donald Trump. And I only get to hang out with a wax figure of Donald Trump.
Affordability can be transformative.
You know, we have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vault.
I just had the realization that GOP are doing this Zohran what Dems did to Trump early on, the Pied Piper strategy. I think it will backfire much in the same way. No. I don't think the GOP is Pied Pipering Zohran. I think that... I think Republicans are a lot smarter. I think the GOP is a lot smarter than we give them credit in terms of winning elections. Their policies are fucking horrible. And the very fact that they win any elections at all means that they are very good at doing politics. Okay? And no, I don't think that they're Pied Pipering Zohran with Zohran Mamdani in a way that he is not with J.D. Vance.
That was missing.
Eric Adams' reaction? You got an Eric Adams reaction? What's funny about these guys is like Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, they're all compromised and they all want this level of fucking respect from Donald Trump and they will never get it because they're weak, they're ineffective. Donald Trump fucking hates them. He will use them. He will use them because he has leverage over them. But with Zohran Mamdani, he doesn't have leverage over Zohran Mamdani because Zohran Mamdani won convincingly against all odds. So he's basically there to take away a little bit of that shine, to stand in the spotlight alongside the affordability candidate, to basically present himself as also someone who's invested in affordability. Do you understand what's going on here? That's why the dynamic is very different. He loves winners.
To the best of my knowledge, he's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said that you both spoke about crime. There are many police officers set to come off the rolls at the end of this year in New York City. Are you going to allow those police to be replaced with police officers, actual cops? And are you going to require that that happens? Would there be some consequence if the staff...
Well, I hope it happens, but again, that's going to be ultimately the mayor's decision.
What's your answer?
Is that I look forward to delivering public safety with the NYPD, and I've said over the course of our campaign that we have the number of police officers today. They are the ones that's budgeted about 35,000 headcount. And I think the key thing is that we have to make it easier for police to focus on police work, not ask them to respond to 200,000 mental health calls a year.
So is that a reduction from what you're at right now? Or are you committing to maintaining the same level of cops?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we had through the campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers, social workers?
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner, I believe, right?
Yes, we did. Commissioner Tesh.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent, and he just retained her, so that's a good sign.
Mr. President, are there still topics that you see the two of you disagreeing on in the future? And do you think you'll have more meetings like this?
There will be topics that we disagree on. I think we'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately he'll convince me, or I'll convince him. You know, it's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see if this city could be unbelievable, if he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Do you think you guys will meet more in the future too?
Excuse?
Do you think you'll meet again in the future, throughout the administration?
I think we will. I think we will. I hope we do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of divisive?
She's a very capable person.
Isn't
But
that a kind of label?
you really have to ask her about that. But
Wait, what do you explain what you mean by this? Are you trying to say, are you implying that, I'm not being critical enough of Zohran because he's Muslim? Is that what you think? You think it's the ummah? Am I doing a little bit of taqiyya, dude? Is that? I'm confused. The fuck? You repeatedly say you like him because he's a 34-year-old socialist. Okay. This is not identity politics, you fucking baboon. I think there's a different reason why you would say id Paul. That's ideology. The fuck? And Muslim, yes. Interesting. But only because you bring it up. So what was it when I said that I disagree with Zohran, and I think it's because he's green that he should not have immediately came out and petitioned against Chi Ose running? Was I able to break through the shackles of identity politics, chatter? You think I give a fuck about someone being Muslim? Okay, Mehmet Öz is literally not only fucking Muslim, but also Sunni Muslim and Turkish. Okay, do you think I like Dr. Oz? His name is my dad's name. Like, there's no more. I feel a sense of closeness. I must feel a sense of closeness to Dr. Oz, don't you think? He's Turkish. He's Muslim. You know? Why does it not work in the same way? I wonder if there's other considerations at play here, you know? All right, I was wrong, and I'm sorry for the generalization, but I still think the backsliding and we're not being critical enough. You're wrong. I am being critical of Zohran. Calm down. Also, everybody, it's fine. It's fine. It's a little bit of a microaggression. Who gives a shit? Okay, stop being offended on my behalf. I don't give a shit. I do think it's funny. Okay, it's all right. He didn't realize what he was saying and doing. Hopefully, maybe he can like scratch the surface of the implicit biases that he's operating with, but you know, everyone has to dial it back a little bit.
The Biden administration, and we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with U.S.
I don't
law?
know. Would you want to respond?
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
So you work with ICE? We work with ICE then?
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
Mr. Mamdani,
What we did is we discussed crime. More than ICE per se, we discussed crime. And he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime. And I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And you know, we actually people would be shocked, but I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Mamdani,
kind of fucked up for Zohran to not check in with Hasanabi's chat before meeting with the president just to see if it's okay. Okay, you're joking, but there's a low key, there are people in here who genuinely believe that. Like, there are people who are operating with that exact attitude where they're like, I don't understand what's going on here. Why didn't he fucking come to us? It's rude of him, really. And they would have been like, no, actually, you're not allowed to do that because that would mean you're normalizing fascism. Yeah. Zohran Mamdani, the Hassan Pike delegation is cutting ties with Zohran Mamdani. Okay. The honeymoon period is over.
Protesters.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. President, I wanted to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people.
No. Jack fucking Posobiec is in that room. Are you fucking joking? Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Ew, gross. Gross. Unacceptable. Switching up on Big Zo as soon as he found a bigger political streamer, Trump, to hang with. Yeah. No, he's the one who switched up on me. He forgot his day ones, dude. He forgot his day ones. That's what it is. Lunatic reporter, you cannot call him a reporter. He is at best a white nationalist Twitter poster, okay? I can't believe this shit.
That in your acceptance speech you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our city.
But to be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
that's what you said.
No, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Please, go ahead.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York. Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city? And President Trump, you've threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
Yeah, this is another thing that fucking annoys me to no end. Okay? Yeah, once again, another like Jewish place of worship being used to literally illegally sell stolen property on in the West Bank in direct violation of New York City rules, in direct violation of international human rights, in direct violation of all the fucking laws. And then when people protest outside of it, everybody goes, oh my God, I cannot believe how anti-Semitic people are. It's one of the most annoying things. I can't believe it still happens. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, what are we doing here? There will be protests wherever Zionists hold events, selling plots of stolen land, or fundraising for the displacement of Palestinians, and people use their houses of worship to host these events. That is a reflection of their own moral rot. That's what should be condemned. And every single time, dumb fuck liberals will eat that bait and be like, oh my God, I am so saddened. I am so saddened I'm so upset. Not at the fact that these guys are basically fucking violating every single rule and every single law and demonstrating one of the most like immoral things that you can do, like doing it in a fucking place of worship. That's not what's saddening for these people. It's the fact that people actually are criticizing it. It's the fact that people are actually protesting against it. It's like, shut the fuck up. Lock in, man. What do you think is the bigger problem here? The fact that people are protesting against like people selling illegally selling stolen fucking houses in an apartheid state in a place of worship, or the people protesting against that outside of the place of worship? The fuck? Can you zin in China? Brother, I have never stopped zinning in China. Yeah, the city of Boston persecuted Catholics, prosecuting the child molesting priest. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe they did that. Yeah, if the fucking Catholic priests were also openly hosting like a child molestation seminar in one of the fucking churches, yeah, motherfuckers will be out there protesting against that too. It has nothing to do with every single Catholic church. It has nothing to do with Catholicism. And it would have something to do with that individual church. It's so fucking annoying. Yeah, the new right-wing thing is describing crimes as generically as possible to pretend like they're not crimes. Someone gets convicted of conspiracy and they start yelling, wow, so it's illegal to make plans with friends now. Text from a GOP operative on the Trump Mamdani meeting. To be honest, I think this pours gasoline on the internal war within the Dems. Hakeem won't talk or work with him, but Trump is open to working with him. Further forces Dems to fully embrace Mamdani and his agenda. They're on copium o'clock. Is it hateful? It is hateful to say the settlements advertised by the group violate international law. What is this? Can you look at my pre's comment? If it's not a good comment, I'm gonna fucking put you on a spaceship. What is this? Aside from Bernie Sanders, there's not even close to another politician in the country who could stand behind Trump in the Oval Office and defend humanitarian beliefs. Not even close. Okay, it wasn't good enough. Take a second off. Don't ever do that again. That was the fucking brilliant comment that you were like spamming me to read. Sorry for any typos. Okay, another second off. Now you're down 2 seconds. At least it wasn't at least it wasn't a stupid one, okay? At least it was fine. That's why I gave him a second. Half the time when people are like, you have to see the previous comment that I wrote, I cooked it up. I cooked up the greatest comment of all time. And then it's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. At least this one was fine. It just wasn't as unique. If it's not a good comment, I'm going to fucking put you on a spaceship. Yes, I have to say stuff like that because whenever I use any other fucking kind of spicy language, every single pedophilic neo-Nazi, like lolly avatar account on the internet goes, why isn't he being banned? Why isn't he being banned? Oh my God, ban this person. He wants to literally take a gun out and execute every single one of us. Oh my God. Like that's literally how they operate. I'm shaking right now. I literally heard this streamer say that he's going to pull a chatter out to the Times Square and execute him. Oh my God. Yeah, every Keon avatar account on Twitter will be like at FBI, at DOJ, at Donald Trump, at Amazon, at Twitch, at Twitter. Why won't they ban them? Mods, why won't they ban them?
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad. And we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say that, subject to what policies are being set. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built.
Yeah, Dan Clancy is Hassan's handler. Exactly. Oh, Dan Clancy's Hassan's handler. Dan Clancy loves Hassan. He's just keeping him.
He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, Dame de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback.
Yeah, once again, by the way, call of the year. Not the hardest one to make, but I told you he would have played ball with Zohran. And here he is, balling on it, okay? Here he is, playing ball. I did not expect him to cooperate like this. No, you don't understand Trump. If you thought that Donald Trump was going to go after someone like Zohran in a negative manner in person, you do not understand how Trump operates. Trump loves charisma. The reason why he invited Zohran Mamdani here. Yeah, the reason why he invited Zohran Mamdani here is because of this. Okay? Trump endorsed Mamdani before Schumer did. Trump was less Islamophobic to Zohran Mamdani during the campaign than Kirsten Gillibrand was, than Andrew Cuomo was. Donald Trump understands where to push and pull. That's why he won the presidency, man. He knows. He's a room reader. He knows who's popping. He's doing it because his base is frustrated at him with affordability, and he sees Zohran Mamdani's victory as an affordability victory. Okay? So he's trying to be like, hey, see, we're on the right side. We're on the right track. We're on the same side, you and I. It's pretty funny that some Hosburists are considering this to be basically October 7 all over again, by the way, which I'm going to get into in a second. But Yusuf Munayer's take on this. Zohran Mamdani, regularly slammed for being a political novice, just pulled off an absolute political masterclass. He requested a meeting with Trump, got Trump to endorse his efforts, and defanged the right's constant attacks on him. Absolute incredible stuff. And the reason this was possible is because Trump understands the political winds, where people are on affordability, and can't go against Mamdani, who has become the face of that issue for millions of Americans. Also, don't think Trump was not aware and not reveling in the fact that he was making the Democratic Party establishment come out looking like complete asshats, but they walked right into that one. That is exactly what's going on. Remember, Donald Trump never did the Donald Trump never did the Islamo-communist jihadist shit. He only did the Zohran is a communist, Zohran is a communist. Isn't that crazy? Do you not find that to be even a little interesting? I certainly do. King Clip with a funny meme on the situation. He did say he would deport him. Yeah, he called him a foreigner. Anyway, it's funny because I'm not confused by this, but it seems Republicans are. And the reason why I'm not confused by this is because as a Trump stan, I understand him better than his own cult does. Okay? I'm not confused by this allegiance at all. I'm not confused by this, not allegiance necessarily, but like this back and forth conversation. I am telling you, Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent, and he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zohran a communist tomorrow. But for today, he's taking a little bit of that shine. It's that simple. That's it. Like, Donald Trump also, you also have to understand, like, what motivates this man, right? What motivates Donald Trump? Donald Trump is a narcissist. A big part of what drives him is said narcissism, right? He always wanted to be endorsed and welcomed by the New York elite. But because him and his father were slumlords and shitty real estate developers and very nouveau riche with their vibes, with their attitude, especially Trump, because he's like the first gen, right? His dad was the one who made all the money, and then Trump was like the first gen rich guy. He went to all the right schools. He wanted to be a part of this elite society in New York, but he was too tacky. He was too rude. So he was never welcomed by them. I know it sounds stupid, but that is a major driving force behind Donald Trump's disdain for the elite. Okay? That is precisely the reason why he talks about Sissy Graydon Carter's Vanity Fair parties when he is stumping in fucking West Virginia talking to coal miner families, because those guys already have that. Those guys already have resentment towards what they perceive as the liberal elite, but their resentment is very different than Donald Trump's. Donald Trump would be the biggest queen, he already is, if he was simply like, if he went to Juilliard and became a Broadway musical producer, okay? I'm telling you right now, instead of this route that he took, he would be living his best gay life. If he had taken that route and instead got welcomed by the New York high society, but instead that fucking drive for wealth and drive for power and endless need for acceptance and admiration unironically caused him to fail upwards and become the fucking president. This is also part of the reason why he wasn't going to ever like pull a Cuba on New York, right? Because he is still, first and foremost, very much a New Yorker. He sees Zohran Mamdani as a guy who has been welcomed by that group. And as someone who has been welcomed by that group, as long as he is somewhat cordial to Donald Trump is going to respond positively. Donald Trump also wants recognition. Donald Trump wants recognition from this group, from these artists and the elite. Yes, only if he didn't get rejected from our art school sounds a little familiar. If you read, now I know this is not like materialism, but if you read into motivating factors, like amongst individual fascists, okay? like fascist figureheads historically, narcissistic resentment is a major driving force every single time, whether it be Mussolini or Adolf Hitler or even Donald Trump. It is a huge driving principle. They get bullied. They're fucking losers. Everyone tells them that they're fucking losers. And they're on a vengeance quest to prove everyone wrong or to dominate all of those who have called them fucking losers. These are very insecurity-driven ideologies. Okay? And yes, Mussolini being a violinist or not being as good, Mussolini being a failed violinist. I guess I'm trying to really make this meme stick at this point. Or Adolf Hitler dropping out or not being able to get into art school is not dissimilar to the Trump route that we're seeing right now. In my headcanon, Donald Trump absolutely would have loved being a Broadway musical producer and get the admiration from all of the New York society elites, all the art producers. Sebastian Stan said the same thing when he was doing press for The Apprentice, the movie where he plays Trump from the 80s, not the TV show. Oh, yeah. It's a great movie, by the way. Mussolini got kicked out of the Socialist Party, so that works. That's part of it, yeah. The contemporary version of this also is the incel army. I think that's how a lot of, like, I think confidence, or rather lack of confidence and insecurity is one of the greatest driving forces for historical fascist movements and contemporary fascist movements. Straight up.
The city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Mr. President, you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays.
Wait, what do you mean by New York elite? Because New York billionaires like Bill Ackman hate Zohran? What? Dude, you think Donald Trump likes Bill Ackman? No, I'm talking about like the movers and shakers of culture. Not Bill Ackman. Nobody worth a damn respects Bill Ackman. I'm talking about the cultural elite. And I'm talking about old money, okay? Like Anderson Cooper's family, okay? The Vanderbilts. If you believe in great man theory, sure. No, I don't believe in great man theory at all. Contradictions understand capital also contribute. No, we're talking about the socialites. Anna Wintour. People like that. Like art, the creators of art. The creators of culture, the movers and shakers, not some random like cryptocurrency charlatans or anything. Donald Trump, I mean, when I say Graydon Carter, the sissy Graydon Carter, that's because Donald Trump talks about the sissy Graydon Carter. You know what I mean? Like that's a genuine point of animosity for him. That's something that occupies a lot of space in his fucking mind. It sounds stupid, but it's true. He wants the people working at Condé Nast to like him. Yeah, I think the noise gate is finally working, by the way. I don't know how I fucking made it work. Andrew Lloyd Webber's up there. Donald Trump has praised Andrew Lloyd Webber. Andrew Lloyd Webber used to live in Trump Tower. Donald Trump talked about how great it was that Andrew Lloyd Webber lived in Trump Tower. He talked about how shitty it is that, like, some of these guys still like him, but they can't say it publicly. You know, you can never say you like Trump. Like, that's the type of shit.
Used to, but you used to
Phantom of the Opera. It was so beautiful. Hold on, I'm going to pull this back a little bit.
Tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Mr. President, you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would.
Ooh, that is, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's such a good question and such a good answer. Oh my Lord, what are my ears hearing right now? What is coming out of this man's mouth? He said, yes, I would. Oh, that's an endorsement, folks. Donald Trump is endorsing woke Sharia. He's endorsing global jihad. He's endorsing Islamo-Gauchism. He's endorsing Islamo-communism. God damn, dude. Are you fucking serious? Are you be for real right now? Oh, my Lord.
After the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
Okay,
You know, he may have different views.
Okay, this goes even beyond my expectations. Never mind. I know I said I precog this already, but like this goes beyond. This goes beyond the precog. He is glazing. Oh my Lord.
But in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders.
Someone check on Deborah Messing. Deborah Messing already. It brings me no pleasure to report this. Deborah Messing reportedly offed herself after she watched this meeting.
I agreed on much more than people thought, and when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders.
Michael Rappaport didn't even know that this meeting was taking place. He just felt a disturbance in the force and he had an aneurysm. Like, this is just like Hosburists are falling left and right. They're just like, oh, they're, please, Mr. President, why? People are surprised, but if Mao or Stalin were still alive, Trump would 100% glaze them. Not even, that is 100,000% a lock. Are you kidding me? 100,000%. You'd be like, Mao, great guy, very powerful, very tall too. Didn't know how tall he was. Turns out I wouldn't expect it, but he was very tall. Very tall guy. Didn't like the birds. Don't quite get that part, but let me tell you, okay? The longest march, they're saying, I can't walk like that, but Mao, he was walking. He was walking quite a bit, and hey, he unified the country. He dominated the forces, just like I dominate the Democrats. He pushed, and he got the Kuomintang. He got Chiang Kai-shek. Not a big fan of that guy. He's quite the liberal. Just like the Democrats, I pushed the Democrats towards the sea, and Mao pushed Chiang Kai-shek towards Formosa. Believe it, folks. These guys love him. The Chinese. They got little books. I hate reading. They love to read. The Chinese. They're big readers. They got his quotes. Someone needs to put my quotes like Art of the Deal in a book. And we got to give it to every single child. And he's got MAGA red. The book is red. It's little and it's red. And we need a similar red book. Very good guy. Mao Zedong. Very, very good guy. Maybe we'd do a golden book. Not a red one, but a golden one, even though I love the color red. They say red is the color of communism, but in America, red is the color of Trump. Quotations of Trump, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Yeah, what the fuck could you put? I guess quotations of Donald Trump would be his like greatest Twitter posts. You know what I mean?
voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, you know, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
Oh, God. I fucking cannot stand. What is this question, man? Just please, guys. Don't you feel a sense of shame? Like, even for a little bit? Don't you feel a sense of shame at all? You're in the room with the fucking president, man. The president of the United States of America. And this is a unique meeting. It's a unique meeting. He's meeting with the fucking communist, socialist mayor of New York. And that's the fucking question you got? It's like, well, why did you use the most efficient mode of transportation? Okay. I don't know what that was. But we should be good now, right? Very strange things happening. Does this not worry you that they may have gotten the Mamdani? I wouldn't even accept this meeting if I were him. Oh, you wouldn't accept a meeting with the president if you were the mayor of New York? Well, that's cool. I don't think you have to worry about that, you know? Guys, look. This is it's fine. It's just some people have concerns and it's understandable. Okay. I don't think this is a bad thing. Okay. I don't think this is a bad thing, especially considering how well this played out. This is a very good thing. Okay. Not a bad thing, but a good one. That's my take. Especially considering that Donald Trump basically cut away at the unlimited amount of propaganda coming from the right flank, coming from the establishment Democrats against socialism, against Zohran Mamdani in particular. And it was a glaze fest. It was fucking glazed donuts all around, you know? Look at this Truth Social post. It was a great honor meeting Zohran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City. Like, what are we doing? This is good. This is good. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but a good thing. You know what else is a good thing? A hype train that's incoming, ladies and gentlemen. Is OSHA really bad in China, or was I duped? I've seen some escalator incidents some years ago. I don't know what you mean by that. Funny megaphonics joke. Chatter is just a temporarily embarrassed future mayor-elect of New York City. Okay, that is a funny megaphonics joke. That's crazy. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers. Okay? The only form of revenue that I generate comes from you, the viewers. The Biker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Your voluntary subscriptions in the form of a $6 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime that you can get by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account is the only thing that keeps the broadcast ad-free. And also, I know what OSHA is. I don't understand what OSHA has to do with fucking, you know, what's going on in China currently, or even like escalators. I didn't understand what OSHA has to do with anything. Like building the escalators, do you think that they're not, like the workers are not OSHA compliant on the job sites or something? I don't know. A DSA coordinator calls his master class. Kitty Tiger 500, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. And Crumple Hat, thank you for the 5 community gifted subs. A master class from ZOHRAN. Resetting terms of the debate for the left, disarming the enemy, blunting opposition forces, making moderates look like they don't know ball, making press seem out of touch with working people, that hot butter knife looking more like a sharp sword. Maybe it's a little bit too much glaze. It's $8. Please stop saying. Did you see Kai Cenat took APAC money? No, there's no fucking way, dude. What? Where is this coming from? What are you guys talking about? It's a meme, I assume.
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but if you flew, that's a lot quicker too. No.
Like, dude, look at that. Look at that. Trump is defending the boy. He said, yeah, it's a lot quicker than the bus. Yeah, like, what are you, fucking stupid? What a stupid question. Thank you. I can't believe it. What do you mean? Why don't you take the fucking bus? The bus actually emits carbon emissions. Why don't you bike to fucking Washington, D.C. from New York? What is this? I hate how stupid people are sometimes. This is one of those times. It's so stupid that even Donald Trump is like, come on, dude. Fucking come on. Central Committee, I watch all China streams. You should too. Why would you ask a passive aggressive question like that? Isn't directly gargling Ford's balls more effective? No, it's just like, it's always the dumbest hypocrisy fishing that these guys engage with. And unfortunately, here's what it is, okay? This is a filter. I like to think of it as a filter. It means that you are incapable of nuanced thinking. It means that you are incapable. Hypocrisy baiting is a major filter. It's a filter for intellect. A lot of people who fancy themselves to be brilliant orators, skilled communicators, well-read individuals, high-minded critical thinkers are oftentimes filtered by this line of thinking. Okay? That's all this is. Oh, you said you're a socialist, but you're rich. Isn't that at odds with your worldview? No, it's not. Let's move on. It's a filter. Like, it's Soldier Goy Tellum has been talking about this a little bit about with respect to Zohran's dad, Mahmoud Mamdani, right? It's the I'll show you if I can find the exact one. Like, a lot of people will point to objectively correct analysis, like assuming that Soldier Goy Tellum, yeah. Another filter, for example, is analysis does not equal endorsement. People who look to analysis and automatically assume that it is endorsement are actually getting filtered, okay? The problem, of course, is that filter is nonsensical and ineffective. Because if everyone else is stupid, do you see what I'm saying? And there's no respect for actual, genuine critical thinking because everyone else is stupid. So you might as well also be stupid with them. Right? Father of Zohran Mamdani, guys, please don't forget to be proud. Unless you're a baby who can't take abstract thinking, he's objectively correct. Suicide bombing needs to be understood as a feature of modern political violence rather than the stigmatized mark of barbarism. We need to recognize the suicide bomber first and foremost as a category of soldier. This is from Good Muslim, Bad Muslim. If you are incapable of abstract thinking, that is a filter for you. If you're incapable of nuanced thinking, that is a filter. If you're incapable of looking at analysis as is, rather than immediately assuming it's a fucking endorsement, that's a filter. Is the hype train frozen? I don't know. Test it out by gifting subs. Bear Huggies, thank you for the 5 gifted. Jihadist suicide bombers are much closer in lineage to the 1960s revolutionaries than they are to lynch mobs. They are orchestrated, deliberate attacks which sacrifice one's own life in pursuit of a greater goal. Whether you agree with those goals, I hope you don't, is irrelevant. Here, the greatest question of all time is a massive filter that actually, I think, made a lot of people frustrated with me after October 7, for example, was, do you think that Hamas and the Palestinian National Resistance Front actually had a reason? Whether you agree with their methods or their reason or not doesn't matter. Do you think that they were behaving in a logical manner where they had an action and a reaction that wanted to provoke some kind of response on October 7 or not? This is the problem. Many people do not want to comprehend that whether you agree with those people, whether you agree with those methods, whether you agree with their worldview, whether you agree with their ambitions or not, do not want to assume that their enemies are capable of any kind of logic, any kind of thinking whatsoever. They want to assume that the rationale behind it was non-existent. It was simply pure barbarism. They wanted to rape and behead Jewish people. That is the way that they want to operate. That's just pure racism. It's a filter. You are stunting your mental faculties in the interest of cope. You will never be able to make change or solve anything if you are engaging in this self-soothing, okay? Oh, all of our enemies happen to be barbaric monsters that have no discernible reason, no identifiable goals, and they're simply operating on pure barbarism for the sake of violence, okay? It's a thought-terminating way to operate. It's a thought-terminating cliche. It's a thought-terminating way to operate. It's oftentimes very racist as well, because that's what racism is a thought-terminating cope. Do you know how much planning and consideration and understanding of modern machinery it took to orchestrate something like 9/11? So many collection action problems had to be overcame for that to succeed. It took years. These scare tactics really show you how much the global war on terror depended on Americans and Westerners believing basic political slogans at full face value without any attempts at deeper insight. To quote Susan Sontag, let's mourn together, but let's not be stupid together. One of the best versions of this, of course, is they hate us because they ain't us. 9/11 happened because they hate us because they ain't us. That is literally the collective understanding, the most common collective understanding of 9/11. And this kind of idiocy unironically moves people away from critical thinking. It's very frustrating. I hate that shit. Okay, chill with dunking on my poor Americans is hard enough already. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, as Americans, we all have to be better. Okay? We have to be better. I want Americans to be smarter about this. Another filter example. Mark Milley goes in front of Congress and they ask him, why is Mao Zedong required reading at West Point Academy? And Mark Milley says, Of course we have to read Mao Zedong. We have to read everyone. Okay? Like, you have to understand how other people think. You have to understand what they're motivated by. Right? What did the Republicans do after that? They said he was a fucking Maoist. They said he was woke and gay. It's fucking insane. You're like a caveman at that point. You're like, you're reading the enemy? You're reading books? You're reading books of the ideological enemy? Oh, don't do that. Americans, unironically, are cooking themselves. We're constantly slamming our fucking heads into the concrete wall, hitting ourselves with fucking frying pans over and over again so that we can coexist and cohabitate this space with a bunch of other fucking racist morons. It blows my mind. I've read so much about how empires fall, okay? Extensively about the Ottoman Empire when I was growing up, because that's what was taught in schools. And it is the exact same pattern over and over again. A bloated, backwards thinking, formerly powerful, major global superpower refusing to evolve, forgetting the dynamism that was required to be a great world power. Just falling into this death spiral. Americans do not recognize that is the environment that we're in. And I think a big part of that has happened because of the comfortable position that capitalist ideologues achieved in the aftermath of the dissolution of the USSR. Yeah, the Wow Mao bin Laden take that caused massive crash houses evergreen. Do Americans actually know why bin Laden did all that, or do they all believe he hated that they can vote or something? Or the same principle, like, oh, we invaded Afghanistan because they hated our free speech. Really? You think that's why we invaded Afghanistan? What the fuck does a goat herder have to do in the mountains of Korengal Valley? What the fuck does that guy have to do with American free speech? He's never met an American. He doesn't even know what a fucking American is until there is a corn-fed Nebraska boy sitting on top of his house with like $175,000 worth of gear, knocking on his door, busting through his door and harassing the fuck out of his whole family. That's the first time that motherfucker has seen an American, okay? Lots of filters.
You know, I mean, he's working very hard for him to be. That's a very
Palpatine take. I don't even know what that means.
You know, the plane takes you 30 minutes and driving takes you a long time.
Yeah, it's such a basic. Exactly. Again, I know I went on this like long tangent about filters, but I think it's important to recognize this. Like, this is a thought terminating, idiotic ass line of questioning. Okay. Oh, why didn't you take the bus instead of the plane to DC? Don't be fucking stupid.
Clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters, beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
I'm a peacemaker, and you did a piece in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and he worked hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President, question for Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused in New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats. I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go.
Hassan is missing the arm taps and the smiles. Brother, I'm in the room and I can hear it. I don't know if you heard it. Zohran Mamdani talked about Israel committing a genocide in the Oval. Yeah. And not only did he do that, but Donald Trump literally smiles and nods along. Look. Rewind time.
Around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about...
Why is he nodding? Yo, you can hear it, but can't see it? No, I can see it because I can hear it. My point is, he's glazing so fucking hard. He's glazing so hard that you can hear him agree with him without actually seeing it. Is craziness. This goes even beyond the fascism moniker being used as simple political football. Okay, I will say, I will say, like, Trump could have easily just been like, yeah, everybody calls everybody fascist. Who cares? Whatever, right? That's just politics. But this is, I think, far more consequential. Okay? He doesn't stop him. Anyone else that says some shit, we know how Trump operates, right? We know how Trump operates in moments like this. Anyone else that would say something in his presence that he knows is bad to say, he would have just physically stopped them. He would have been like, nope, I don't agree with this. I think you're out of your mind. You're wrong, and everyone knows you're wrong. Like, he's just sitting there, not interjecting, and even nodding along. That's crazy. Like, think about how he treated Zelensky as opposed to Zohran Mamdani. Think about how he treats the Democrats, like establishment Democrats, as opposed to Zohran Mamdani. As Zohran Mamdani sits there and is like, Israel's doing a genocide, and America's funding said genocide. It's actually unacceptable, which is true, by the way.
Concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and work hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace.
Oh God, the second line of questioning is so fucking unbearable. Come on, will you give Donald Trump the credit? Will you give Donald Trump the credit? Okay, dude.
And I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hill.
Yeah, bro. When you brought it up at that talk with the establishment Dems, they immediately deflected while Trump is like, hell yeah, brother. Yeah. I can't even fucking get a word in edgewise about Israel doing a genocide amongst Democrats who are supposed to be like ideologically aligned with me. I got more pushback by the Pod Save America panel than Zohran Mamdani is here next to Donald Trump. How is that possible?
Side Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights. And I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President.
Because liberals are garbage in all shades, Trump can at least read the room. No, I think it's totally unacceptable, though. I think it's completely unacceptable. I think it's unacceptable that like liberals are losing this conversation to right-wingers who at least have the presence of mind to step out of the way when people are saying stuff like this. You understand? And by the way, liberals are very happy about this meeting as well. Look at Brian Stelter. Trump just deflated months of incredibly hostile Fox News and MAGA media commentary about Zohran Mamdani. The official DNC account is farming Zohran now? No, they have been. They've been farming Zohran. They've been farming Zohran for a while, even though the establishment Democrats are not. Because remember, the Democrats' Twitter account is being is probably like a younger staffer that controls that account. Look at the fucking fantasy world that these guys live in, by the way. Someone said that sometimes Trump supporters understand Trump the least, and I'm beginning to understand given the reaction to the Mamdani meeting. Yeah, it's true. Trump supporters understand Trump the least. I think I have a better understanding of Donald Trump than the average MAGA supporter in terms of what moves him, in terms of what his ambitions are. I think we here in this community have a better grasp on who Trump is than his own fans do. I think the average liberal even understands Donald Trump better than the average MAGA Trump supporter. And the reason why I say that is because at least they are whether on accident or on ideological grounds, they are antagonistic to Donald Trump because they recognize that Donald Trump is narcissistic, selfish, and also very much disinterested in improving the lives of even his own base of support. Scenario, Todd Starnes says, Mamdani enters the Oval Office today only to be greeted by Tom Homan, who then personally escorts the communists back to Uganda. And then Todd Starnes, after the interview, or after the meeting, I thought Mamdani was supposed to be a fascist dictator. What the heck is going on at the White House? What happened? You're not supposed to believe in this stuff. You're supposed to cynically say this shit, not actually believe in it. Why did Zelensky receive a harsher welcome at the White House than Mamdani? Interesting. If socialists are doing a good job, then I guess nobody needs to vote them out during the midterms. If you're a Republican, why not just stay home in 2026 and 2028 since Mamdani's policies are amazing? I'm confused. No need to oppose the left, I guess. I guess socialism is comfortable now. No need to vote for the GOP in 2026 is the message I'm getting from that. Am I missing something? I'm not going to lie. Laura Loomer is a lot more pro-Israel than I thought she was. I thought she was like totally on board with aligning with Nazis and stuff like that. Somewhere along the way, because she literally tried to fuck a Nazi famously at one of those, like in Trump, under Trump 1. When the Nazis were doing, like when the Groypers were doing their like America First parties and whatever, Laura Loomer would go there and would try to fuck them and be like, oh, you know, the Nazis always say I'm like, I'm a Jew, but you know, that's because I have a high Ashkenazi IQ and big tits or something. I don't fucking remember what it was. But like That's a famous clip, at least in this community, where Laura Loomer's like trying to fuck one of these like Nazis at America First Party. That always made me think that like she must be anti-Semitic and not exactly pro-Israel, despite being Jewish herself. Trump too, she's been going crazy mode on Israel. Like the only times where I see her actively go against the president. And remember, the only reason why she has any relevance whatsoever is because she has glazed the president. Play it. I've never seen it here.
Your eyes look so good. You're like beautiful.
Thank you.
You're like an Aryan degenerate goddess.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. You're Aryan too.
I know, but I'm Jewish.
It's okay.
The Nazis hate me.
It's fine.
All right people.
She got the death grip on him too. Look at this. So that guy's a Nazi, and she's like, "Oh, you look like an Aryan goddess." He's like, "Ha ha ha! Thank you. You're Aryan too." And then Laura goes, "Well, the Nazis hate me."
Want to put me in a gas chamber because they're obsessed with the Jews.
I think they're just memeing on you, but it's okay.
They're just jealous because I have big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. You got it.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Like, do you know so many people in this movement who preach trad life are like fucking people on the side and like cheating on their partners?
That's so bad.
Like, they're not even like really trad.
That's so bad. Bro. This is a famous. Y'all have never seen this? Y'all have never seen this shit? Y'all have never seen this clip? I think it's pretty funny how much Laura Loomer has like come back into the mainstream despite her very open insanity. But yeah, like I said, what's been remarkable to me, you trot this about once every 2 months by my calculations. Okay, well, people still haven't seen it. Not everyone has seen it in this community, so it's important. For those who don't know, Laura Loomer is literally like a trusted and close advisor to Donald Trump, in spite of the fact that under Trump 1, she was banned from every single social media application for being unimaginably Islamophobic, and famously chained herself to the doors of Twitter headquarters after being banned from Twitter. That was a fun little Laura Loomer moment. And Donald Trump during the election cycle called her a free spirit when people were like, why the fuck do you have this psycho on Air Force One? Why is she giving you advice on how to do debates? Yes, she actually chained herself to only one door of Twitter headquarters, so people were still able to go in and out, despite the fact that she was also being a psycho. Oh, she also put the yellow Star of David on her shirt, implying that it was just like the Holocaust that she was banned from Twitter.
A different direction, and I think you really have a chance to make it great.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable, and I can tell you that there were more New York.
Oh yeah, Laura Loomer, her first mark on American politics was when she used to work at Project Veritas alongside James O'Keefe, and she tried. And I know you're not going to believe me when I say this because it sounds utterly insane, but it's true. She tried
who voted for President Trump
to build. She tried to start an ISIS fan club at the university she was attending. I say tried because obviously it failed, because the university was like, no, you can't do an ISIS fan club. And then they expelled her. That's who Laura Loomer is. You know the weirdest facts? I mean, What do you want me to do? This is my job. I am an American political commentator. It's not my fault that American political commentary requires me to know about insane people, because American political commentary is objectively insane. American politics is objectively insane. What is this?
Blackberry. There's rice-flavored Turkish ice cream?
Why are you sending this? Loomer's first mark was the plastic surgeon's marker drawing on her face.